Hey, what's up, everyone? I just wanted to do another video. I'll explain why, nothing major, but I'll explain why, I kind of had a little bit of absence from posting the videos. This is just going to be, all my videos have been pretty rambly, but I've had a topic in mind, but I'm just doing this one straight off the dome just because, I don't know, just because why not? I mean, I'm feeling a lot better today. Um, haven't really posted, or made videos, or been active online too much this week because feel like I've been fighting. Like I've either just been like tired or physically drained, or fighting off some sort of illness. Not quite full blown sick, but just general malaise and just feeling crappy. Surprisingly, though, not too bad in terms of the mental. I mean, my mental health has still been pretty spectacular this week, so that's been really nice. It's just been physically not feeling very well. Today's the first day, though, since last weekend that I've actually felt pretty decent. So I guess this is going to kind of just be a recap video of how this week has gone. And then if something pops up on my mind, I might talk about that briefly. Because I did mention moving forward, I would like to write out like a loose script or kind of a framework for something I want to talk about in specific examples, so that way I'm just not rambling. It does help too. I will mention is so today is we're getting pretty close to day 50 of sobriety and recovery. I've already hit the 6 week mark, which is the longest period of time that I've been clean and sober since I've been 20 or 21 years old. So, I mean, that's a pretty significant victory in of itself. But I wanted to bring that up because it does feel, it's hard to say because it's so transient or just intermittent, but I feel like my brain is working a little bit better in terms of my memory and cognition and my ability to articulate myself. I'm not kind of stumbling over my words or, kind of forgetting something mid-sentence. So that's really nice. But again, with the pause, it's so hard because it's not like something that is it's much more subjective than it is objective. It's not like you can draw your blood and be like, oh yeah, you have pause. It's more of just like, oh, I feel crappy today, or, my brain's just not working as well. There's really no clear reason why. Maybe it's because of the post-acute withdrawal syndrome. But yeah, so I feel like my brain's working a little bit better. But I still want to have a more solid framework so that way I can make sure I talk about the points I want to talk about. But again, this video I'm just going to kind of talk about this week. So yeah, today's the first day I've been feeling really a lot better. I hate to say it like this, but I'm really fortunate that I'm completely broke and don't have money. I mean, I am trying to find employment and other sources of income if at all possible. But for the time being, I'm glad that I'm broke because I guess I really can't say it. I don't want to doubt myself, but I do need to be open and honest with myself and, to everyone I encounter. This has been a really triggering week for me in terms of kratom or kratom, however people pronounce it. You could say it either way. Cravens. Because that's something, I mean, I get, I've struggled with polysubstance abuse. I mean, pretty much anything to alter my consciousness, even if it's not very pleasurable. For me, it's always been better than being sober. So I've struggled with kratom addiction and especially the physical dependence for, over 8 years. I mean, I did have a period from March 2020 to about April 2021, where I didn't have the money, and I was just so in the depth of my nitrous addiction that I inadvertently quit. It wasn't my intention, but it kind of just happened so to be. And then when I was in the mental health court and kept having positive UAs, drug tests for alcohol, my objective, which, it's so sad saying this, but was to find something that I could take to substitute alcohol that wouldn't show up on a drug test, which defeats the whole purpose of recovery. That's one thing I've kind of realized on this go around is it's not that I didn't want recovery before, but I just wanted to do the bare minimum and do what was minimally expected of me. And sometimes not even that. I would go to treatment, I would go to court sessions, but some weeks I wouldn't do a single meeting like AA. Part of the treatment, outpatient treatment, is to attend at least 2 meetings per week. So sometimes I would just lie, and I would say, oh yeah, I went to one on this day or that day or whatever, just so that way I could, not get in trouble. But, ultimately I was just doing myself a disservice. Whereas now, I've been going to, about 4 meetings per week. And of course I'm reporting them. I'm going to be open about that, but it's nice because one, first and foremost, I don't have to lie about it. So I don't have to, make that, however you consider lying. For me, it's kind of immoral, of course. But that's definitely something I've struggled with, and I still struggle with. I'm getting better at being honest, and making these videos and blog posts has been helpful in holding myself accountable to the honesty. But I've lied so much in my addiction, so for me it's kind of a default. So whereas I would do the bare minimum or sometimes not at all and just say I did, I'm doing the 4 and I'm loving it. I go to 2 of the CRAB support groups per week. I do a Smart Recovery event. I do an AA that's in person. And I've expressed interest. I would really like to find and attend, but so far I haven't found anything. So possibly create an Inhalants Anonymous type of group. Not so much maybe with the strict, or not strict, but the structure of AA or NA, but more of just a kind of support group, because I do enjoy going to AA and Smart. I haven't really been to too many NAs recently, but I do know that everyone's welcome there. You don't have to be an alcoholic to go to those, or you don't have to use a certain substance to go to those. But I do find it really helpful to have a group or a meeting that is more specific to your drug of choice, or one of your drugs of choices. It's a lot easier to share stories and for people to kind of connect personally. That's not always the case for everyone, but personally, it does help when I can have someone relate, because, wherever I go, for the most part, at least in person in treatment, both inpatient and outpatient, I'm the only one that really has had nitrous oxide as a main drug of choice. There's been some people that have some history of using it, but very limited, and typically used as like a secondary drug to boost the effects of something else, and just very short-lived. So some people can kind of relate, but at the same time, it's just, with as much as I was using, I hope there's no one else that kind of been through that, because it was my own personal hell. But if there is, I definitely would like to seek those people out, or be able to talk with them. And I've talked with a few people via comments and written word online, and I'm incredibly thankful for those people, sharing their stories and, their experiences. It just makes me realize how fortunate I am. I've known that, but it just reinforces that idea of how much worse it could have been, or I could, even be dead. Not even sitting here making this video right now. And just reinforces the idea. I don't really have cravings to use the nitrous, just because, my tolerance just got so high. It's so expensive, and of all the effects, both physical and mental effects, that it did, I really don't have any interest. So yeah, now I'm rambling again. But again, that's kind of the whole point of these videos. I really like doing this. This has been really nice. And last week, it was really nice to get all that love and support, and to get some interaction with people. So, kind of backtracking. Usually I'm pretty good, too, about circling back. Yeah. So, meetings, treatment. So today I worked out. I wasn't planning on it, but I was just like, you know what? For some reason, I just kind of found the motivation to do so. So I did. And then had my one of the crab support groups, and after that, shaved my head, shaved my face, took a nice hot shower. Well, shower with a cold rinse. So it feels really nice just to be clean shaven and just kind of fresh and clean. I'm doing my laundry. I'm gonna have fresh bed sheets. So it just feels really nice for me. Having a clean environment, clean and organized environment, can really support good mental health for me personally. And it sounds like that's the case for many others as well. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like mental illness and addiction. They kind of feed off of each other. So your environment not only influences your mental health, but it can be a reflection of your mental health. So usually if things are starting to slide, it's a good indicator to me, especially when I'm running on autopilot and I'm not practicing so much mindfulness, that, oh, hey, possibly your mental health isn't the best right now because your room is a mess and you're a mess. You haven't shaved and, even showered in several days. So I bring up the groups and treatment because even though I've been feeling physically unwell this week, I've done everything. I've pretty much accomplished all but one of my goals. I wanted to go to a temp agency in person to check it out, but they're only open Monday through Friday, and this whole week I haven't been feeling the best. Granted, I mean, that's no excuse because I managed to get other stuff done, but that was kind of lower on my priorities. And I have to be honest too, it's not that I want to just sit around and be a bum, but having this time to not have to worry about work and really focus on my recovery and my health, I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity, but I think working at least part-time would be helpful, not just for the money, but just something to do. But one of the things that I started doing this week is volunteering at the local recovery cafe. I mean, it's not a lot. I serve food for like an hour or two, 3 times a week, but it is really nice to do something else, especially since it's so close to where I do my intensive outpatient. So I go to that in the morning, and then after that, I walk down to the cafe, and then I help a little bit. My monitor just went off. I help out with that, and then I bus it back home, and I can grab lunch there too. So it's a win-win, and I get to be in a really supportive environment and to do at least a little bit of service work. So I'm really thankful for that. So got that done this week. I've managed to weight lift a few times last week. Not so much, not so active with the, I think I've walked a little bit. It was mostly walking like to and fro, like treatment to the cafe and whatnot, to buses. It wasn't more of a kind of just walking for the sake of walking. And I haven't been on the bike this week. But at the very least, I really prioritize anaerobic training, weightlifting over aerobic. For me, just I get more benefit from focusing on muscle hypertrophy, not even strength, but just muscle mass. But I still like to try and keep it more balanced. That's another thing I'm working on too, is just balancing my life everywhere. Which has been nice, like with the support groups. Like I don't just go to AA or I don't go to Just Smart. I have a mixture of different things, and it helps to keep it fresh. So it does help to keep it fresh too in terms of exercise, and it just creates a more well-rounded effect in my physical health and my mental health. So I got that done. I've been to all my treatment. I'm trying to think if I want to say there's something else, but I those are kind of the main things that at least come to mind. So I'm really proud of myself. I mean, not to the point where I'm full of myself. But I really need to give myself credit in situations like this, because it really reinforces that positive behavior, that healthy behavior. Instead of beating myself up and be like, oh, I didn't go to the temp agency, and focusing only on that. I can look and say, well, at least I accomplished these things, especially not feeling very well. So I do need to give myself some credit for that. And So yeah, so it's been an okay week. I mean, other than not feeling great, I mean, I've still been managing to get things done. I should be finishing IOP in the next few weeks. I meet with my PO officer tomorrow. Actually, I think that was a little redundant, because I think PO is probation officer. So my PO, which should go pretty well. Yeah, so I'm feeling a lot better. I'm really looking forward to being able to sleep in a nice clean bed and just be fresh and clean. And especially after doing this video, kind of just like get that stuff out of my head. It's not like I've been like overly thinking today, but it still does help to kind of just sit here and just talk. So I think I'm gonna kind of end it there. Nothing else I really want to talk about, but that is on my to-do list, is to start coming up with topics and writing out kind of a loose script or some key points, because it is really hard to pinpoint specific delusions I had. I mean, it's and just behavior. I have some loose memories, and fortunately, if I really put my mind to it and sat down, I can conjure up more of those, or at least a more vivid recall. But that's not something I can really necessarily do on the spot, and then also speak in a somewhat linear, coherent manner. So I would like to try and do both. And I think having that kind of loose script would help with that. I also do want to start writing more on the blog. I kind of want to practice a little bit of creative writing. I've been kind of just writing things from my perspective, kind of just like a objective perspective. Whereas like one idea that kind of popped in my head is, I know I've talked about my jail experience a little bit, but it would be kind of cool to have a fairly lengthy blog post where it's more of kind of a story, and really take that time to kind of just describe the environment. And yeah, so that way, like, reading it, it's like you wouldn't even know like that's necessarily coming from me. That's just kind of this character that's going through this experience, but of course it would be based on my true experiences. But I don't know, there's a lot of things. It's just nice to have this energy and motivation, and this clarity, this lucidity of not just being bogged down by substance use, but also not being bogged down by the pause, not having that kind of haze with my brain's freaking out, because it's so used to consuming, often multiple different types of substances every day. And of course, I mean, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. So, but that physical stuff that could have easily have just been kind of more attributed to pause. I really can't quite say. It is really nebulous, especially with the research. I mean, it's not like super conclusive or whatever. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do this video. Again, thanks for everyone that watches, and hopefully this is helpful or can inspire you in your recovery, or maybe give you a little bit of perspective, to help you maybe not necessarily completely understand, but have some semblance of an idea of what your friends or family, your loved ones are going through. I mean, addiction and mental illness is I mean, they're horrible diseases. I mean, every disease is horrible. But with the addiction and mental illness, it's just as debilitating, but unfortunately, there's still a little more stigma attached, a little less understanding on those diseases. And and again, it's not quite clear. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I have a disease, so it's like my bad choices in the past. That's not on me. I mean, I take full responsibility for all of the decisions I've made in my life, good or bad. I mean, it's just that the disease makes those good choices much more difficult to do. We still have a choice. I feel like, you know, addicts and people with mental health struggles, at the end of the day, we still have a choice. It's just that choice is much more biased towards feeding that addiction or, you know, whatnot. So yeah, now I'm gonna end it here. I know I noticed too. I do this too. At the end of my videos, I say I'm gonna end it, and I keep talking. So, but no, I'm gonna end it. Thank you for watching. I will try to post another video or two this week and do some blog posts. Have a good night, everyone.